Hi, I'm Rayma.
And I'm Andrea.
And this is Mile High Murder. We are just slightly obsessed with true crime. We text each other when new missing persons cases are unfolding. We add each other to Facebook sleuth groups and definitely feel like we have solved the cases before anyone else. We aren't creepy, I promise.
I'm sorry. That was dumb.
It's fine, I'm just gonna laugh.
I'm ready. Sorry. This is the murder of Morgan Ingram. Rayma, have you ever heard of this before?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm really excited about this because, it's a really interesting case, and there are, honestly, it goes like these crazy rabbit trails.
Okay.
So just settle in.
I'm really excited.
Okay, here we go. On December 2nd, 2011, 19-year-old Morgan Ingram is in her room in Carbondale, Colorado.
Where is Carbondale?
Okay, so I had to research this because I was not sure, but it is right outside of Aspen. It's actually in the 1980s, it was considered like a bedroom community to Aspen because the whole skiing scene was kind of coming into play. And so people would...
In the 1980s is when skiing was really
Well, no, Aspen.
Oh, Aspen
Aspen became a thing.
Got it.
So people lived in Carbondale, but then would
go skiing in Aspen.
Or work in Aspen. So it became this mecca in the 80s. And actually, Carbondale is only 2.0 square miles.
Oh, wow.
In all. It is a very tiny, tiny little... this is the Census Bureau, and it was tiny, tiny town. So, in 2010, according to the U.S. Census, there were only 6,000 people there.
Whoa. So everyone knew everyone there.
Tiny town. Yeah. So, and it's on, it's a very rural community. It was agricultural kind of thing. They were known for potatoes.
Oh, okay.
And then mining. Potatoes. I love potatoes.
French fries, great. Love them.
100%. And so... that's kind of how Carbondale came to be.
Okay.
So it's this tiny little quiet town situated. It's like a valley.
Okay.
So
she's in her room.
She's in her room.
In December.
It's 5:30 in the morning, December 2nd. Her mom, her name is Tony, says that she went into Morgan's room to check on her because Morgan had a puppy that she hadn't let out. And she usually lets the puppy out to go to the bathroom early in the morning. So Tony gets up and lets both the dog and the cat outside, returns them to Morgan's bedroom, and sees the dog has pooped on the carpet.
Oh.
She starts to clean it up.
That's why I don't want dogs.
Right. And asks Morgan, aren't you even going to say thank you for letting your puppy out and cleaning up her poopy? But there's silence.
So she's in her room.
She's in her room. She's in her bed. So Tony goes over into Morgan's bed and tries to shake her awake. And when she doesn't wake up, Tony runs out of her room shouting for her husband, Steve, to come check on Morgan because something's wrong. Steve goes over to Morgan and immediately begins CPR on his daughter as he realizes that she is incapacitated. And Tony calls 911.
Oh, man.
The Garfield County sheriffs arrive and put up crime tape around the house and sends the family to the next door neighbor's house. Later that day, they're allowed to go back into the house.
Whoa, no. So, okay, wait. But she's dead. Is she dead?
She's dead.
Okay. So it wasn't a crime scene.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
So Tony, her mom, goes back into Morgan's room to look at the bed where she found her that morning and sees a little white box laying on the right in front of the direction Morgan was facing. So she's laying out that way, out of the bed.
Yeah.
So Tony opens it and there's a little knife her dad had bought her on Wednesday inside of it.
Okay. Like a pocket knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what she says is that Morgan was super scared and frightened. And so she took it to bed with her.
Why was she scared? What was she afraid of?
We'll get there. So that night, on December 2nd, Morgan's sister, Kristen, and her husband, Christian.
Kristen. This is going to get complicated.
Right. They come in from California to be with a family. They sleep in Tony's office/bedroom and keep a baby monitor on. And they say that they hear a loud bang on the window from the monitor that was placed in Morgan's bedroom. that night.
Okay, so wait. Why was there a monitor in Morgan's bedroom? There's a baby in there?
Oh, no, there's no baby.
Wait, what? This is so confusing.
Okay. So you see, over the past few months, Morgan believes she was being stalked.
Okay.
There is report after report from Tony stating that someone would come by the house to scare Morgan repeatedly. So her mom, Tony, has a blog, and you can find it all over, but I have it here in my notes, but it's morganingram.com. And
okay,
basically
that was a hard one to figure.
Right. I realized that was a big stretch. So on her mom's blog, she says Morgan had a secret stalker who never tried to directly contact her. But there was a police report. The very first police report was reported in February of that year when someone had actually keyed Tony's car,
okay,
the mom. And from the front of the driver's side door, so if you're standing on the driver's side, front of the driver's side to the back of the driver's side, someone had keyed the letters BITCH into her mom's car.
In her mom's car, okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't until August of that year. So that was in February. And then in August, the very beginning, Morgan started hearing tapping on her bedroom window.
This is creeping me out.
After being home for only 15 minutes and turning her lights off for bed. So on Saturday, August 6th, Morgan asked her parents to check the windows outside her room to see if something was causing it. Like maybe there's a branch or something. Like look all around to see if there's trees. And immediately her parents are like, something isn't right. So that night, the tapping starts again after she arrives home.
This is seriously creeping me out.
Like
we need to start recording in the daytime. I can't do this.
I know, right? It's so creepy. Okay, so this is Saturday, August 6th. So then on Monday, August 8th, Morgan comes home from a friend's house and decides to shower in her mom's office bathroom. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. At about 10 p.m. It's within minutes of her arriving home. So after undressing, she notices that the bathroom window is open 2 inches. Ugh. She's super creeped out and closes the window. She hears a loud bang, bang on the window, grabs her towel, and runs into her mom and dad's room. Wait,
is she home alone?
Uh-huh. She is so terrified that she winds up sleeping in her mom's walk-in closet. And she does that, like, for months on end.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's super freaked. Like, obviously, like, I'm super freaked out.
Could they do it? These are all police reports, yeah?
Correct.
So they have contacted the police, but
there's nothing. Like, they have no one. Like, there's nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So at this point, Morgan is super scared and super upset that she actually starts to break out in a rash on her face and her chest, which I totally get.
Yeah.
So Tony, at this point, is so scared for her daughter's safety that she actually refuses to leave the house unless Morgan is gone because she just doesn't want to leave Morgan alone anymore.
I mean, okay, but the stalker could follow her to wherever she's going.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apparently that doesn't come into play here.
Yeah. It just is like a stalker at her house.
Only at her house in the bedroom. So on Tuesday, August 9th, Tony calls the Carbondale Police Department to report the latest incident. And Detective Evan Jaramillo arrives at the house with a canine to search the property and tells him that this actually happened to another home down the road, who had similar reports a while back. There were actually 4 or 5 reports of someone tapping on windows, which it's so freaking creepy. And the last time it happened, the girl went outside, saw the guy, called him 911, and the officer arrived on scene, ran after the suspect, and lost him.
Oh my gosh, my mouth is open. Like I can't even. And we might have to take a break. I might need a breather.
Just like wipe the spit off of or the drool off of your face.
No.
But they were eventually
out.
The cops actually were told eventually that the tapping stopped and the case went cold. They had nothing.
So how many years or how long before, do you know?
It doesn't say. It just in the case file it just said a while back.
Okay.
So I couldn't even tell you. So from here on out, Steve, her dad, installs a motion sensor outside with like the motion sensor lights to help them alert to, danger or whatever.
The light turns on.
Right, of course. He also got an alarm system from Costco. They actually go as far as to power wash like outside the perimeter of the house so that they can track footprints in case. So like to, get the.
I mean, hey, good for her dad. Because if the police can't really do anything because they have no information to go on, like good for her dad actually doing something.
Totally. I would never have thought about like power washing the landscape to get like footprints or whatever.
Yeah.
So they put up curtains all over the house so that the perpetrator can't see inside. And then this is like a couple weeks later, the motion detectors start going off. Okay, so I want to pause here and say, they're in Carbondale. Carbondale is an agricultural, rural, that's a really hard word to say.
Yeah, it is.
Rural community. Like it's in a valley. Like there's a lot of trees, like animals, all the things. So just keep that in mind as we're going.
Okay.
Okay. So detectors are going off. On August 24th, Morgan wakes up to rocks hitting her windows again. On August 25th, Tony, her mom, sees a man in a hoodie at the front door, but he runs away. And according to Tony, he ran into one of the motion sensors, actually knocking it out of the tree. So from then on, they actually paint the motion sensors like, so if they're on the house, they paint them whatever the color of the house is. If they're in the tree, they paint them brown.
So they like camouflage it.
Right, exactly. So, but of course, no one sees anything except Tony.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Wait. Okay.
Morgan has yet to see a perpetrator.
Okay. But she's heard it all. She just hasn't seen anybody.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Tony's the only one who has seen someone.
Okay.
Okay. So on Monday, August 29th, between 11 p.m. and 2:30 a.m., they hear someone or something on the roof.
Oh, no.
They call the sheriff, look at the cameras that they have already installed, obviously, to see someone in their driveway standing up against Steve's truck.
What?
They call the sheriffs, but by the time the sheriffs get there, they find nothing.
Okay.
Are you not
does
like,
Steve
do you not
have a gun? And does he not just go out and
apparently
shoot this
not.
guy?
Apparently not. Like, and I think, to be fair, if I heard someone on the roof, first of all, it's August, so it's not Santa.
So not Santa. Santa is not on the roof.
Santa is not on the freaking roof in August. And I don't know. Do you? Maybe because I'm a girl or I'm kind of a wussy. Like I'm not gonna run.
I'm definitely a wussy.
Okay, cool. Like I'm not gonna run out and be like,
right,
say hello to my little friend.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, no, me neither.
Get
but
out.
like, I feel like guys. Especially in like a rural community.
That's a really hard one to
it's
say.
kind of like tumultuous. But I feel like he's probably a hunter, right? Like he'd have to have a gun.
You would think so.
You would think that, I don't know, if you're...
right.
I don't know.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. It's just creepy.
It's way creepy.
Okay, so this is in August. Over the next couple of months... They hear multiple times. They have one of those keypads on their doors. They hear people punching numbers into the keypad.
Oh my God.
But all the family members claim it's not them. But they hear it multiple times throughout the next few months.
Like during the night?
No, and during the day.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Do they not have video cameras? Second question.
Okay. You have so many great questions because there's... I'll get to that.
Okay.
Motion detector lights are turning on and off outside, and all of these incidents are documented. Like, they're not necessarily a police report, but in the case file, Tony goes through an entire timeline, and I mean, girlfriend is like on it about documenting what happened when. And I want to say again, Carbondale Valley. Is it a person or is it a cat? Who knows?
I mean, but a cat trying to punch in numbers.
No, not that.
Like the lights, it's the motion.
The motion detector lights.
Yeah.
Think about the punch cat.
Yeah, cat. It's a cat. Just trying to get
a wily
in.
cat.
No big deal. Cat on the roof. Cat trying to punch in the numbers. That cat.
Right. Okay, so we're now into September. Morgan's at a friend's house at this point, just spending the night. But there are rocks thrown at Morgan's window.
At her friend's house?
No, at Morgan's actual window at this house. Yeah. Cops swarm, find nothing. There's nothing. Right. So then, of course, her parents are like, maybe we should move somewhere else.
Yeah, I thought that like 3 months ago.
Okay, but here's what I want to say about that, is that all of this started like back at the beginning of August. It wasn't, August 4th was the first day. And suddenly, like within the week, they decide that Morgan has a stalker.
Okay, but what about didn't you say something, when they keyed in BITCH into the mom? So that was like way far off in February. And nothing else happened again until August.
6 months later, then they find.
Okay.
And it wasn't Morgan's car. It was Tony's
her mom's
car.
Yeah.
Like there was no correlation necessarily. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all kind of, they're just, these weird things happen. They decide Morgan has a stalker.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So then in September, Tony sees Morgan driving away and sees a little green car. This little green car actually belongs to a neighbor named Keenan Van Ginkel.
Ooh, that last name though.
Right. Bless his precious soul. She sees his car following Morgan out of the cul-de-sac. So she calls Morgan to warn her. Morgan tries to shake the car. She sees that there's 2 people in it, and she starts to panic. She pulls into a college parking lot in her area, and the car speeds past her. So at this point, Keenan, in the family's eye, is the person of interest. Like, he's the one.
Morgan's family's eye.
Yeah, absolutely. So he and Morgan actually had like a little stare down at one point. He was kind of in and out of the house. He had a girlfriend, and at one point breaks up with the girlfriend and moves out.
What's the age difference? How old is Keenan?
So Keenan is 15.
Okay.
And Morgan is 19.
Okay.
So it's, a few years. But he does enough stuff that like makes people uncomfortable. They're not really comfortable with him being around.
He's he's the neighborhood weirdo.
I mean, a little bit. He really, like, there's pictures of him all throughout the case file that I'm like, I don't know. He looks like a normal teenage dude,
Yeah, but I mean,
teenagers
Ted Bundy,
are weirdo. Right.
You never know.
Right. So now we're deep into September. It's Saturday, September 24th. Morgan comes home late again. Motion lights are on. More rocks at the window. Like, are you not, like, I just feel like sweaty thinking about that. Like,
I mean, yeah.
I just want to get the heck out of there.
Oh, yeah. So, I think as Morgan, I would have just moved out. Like 19.
At 19. Like, I'm gone. Bye.
Yeah, I'm out.
Love you guys. Peace. So all throughout October and November, more of the same incidents. Rocks are being thrown at her window. Motion lights are going on and off. Rumors are starting to swirl around the neighborhood about who the stalker actually is. Tony actually finds a therapist because it's stressing her out.
What about Morgan? Does she have a therapist?
She does not have a therapist that I have found, but she does start telling people that she is freaking stressed out.
Yeah.
Which, obviously. And then a few unidentified, almost like silhouettes, are showing up on the cameras outside.
What?
But nothing happens. Nothing. So, on November 16th, 2011, the sheriffs finally decide to question Keenan. So they call his dad Wade and they ask if, they can interview his son because he's a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Wade tells them that he actually has heard from his son that he's a suspect in the stalking investigation. So they bring him in. Wade agrees to it, and they just ask him general questions. Where do you work? He works at City Market. What do you do? Do you know why you're here? And he said, well, I keep seeing sheriff's cars near my house, and actually was pulled over and questioned by the police a few times and then let go. So Keenan says that there is a guy named Danny Roden who started messaging him on Facebook. Danny messaged Keenan that he knew that Keenan was the one stalking Morgan and that he was the one who was bugging the Ingrams. Keenan actually said that Danny also threatened to kill him over this Facebook message. And Keenan said that Danny said that the cops were happy with what Danny, did by showing him the Facebook message. Like they were all happy with, they were cool with that message. Like, okay, this makes sense and blah, 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 that, whatever. So Keenan then says that he heard that something had happened a few weeks ago when actually Keenan was in Texas.
When
all of these occurrences were happening.
Oh.
So they asked Keenan like how they had, the sheriffs asked Keenan, how did you hear what happened then? Like if you were gone or whatever.
Yeah.
So he said that his ex-girlfriend's mom had heard that a person was walking around the neighborhood and was asking about what had happened on this particular Tuesday. Well, his dad actually is part of his alibi. Like, there's a couple instances where he was actually not able to be that person because he was in Wyoming and then Texas.
Okay.
On a hunting trip with his dad. So there was no way that he could have been the one on these instances.
So who's this Danny guy? Did they actually see these Facebook messages from him?
So So Keenan shows these messages to the sheriffs, and they're, like I said, they're happy with like him showing them, but there's nothing. Danny is just a dude in the neighborhood. He's another guy with some, like everybody kind of knows everybody in the town.
Right.
So as they continue to question him, Keenan actually is like, I'm not really sure who this girl is. Like, I think her name's Morgan. He actually offers up a different name to the investigators. The name is Wiley. He mentions that Wiley moved into the neighborhood around the same time that Keenan did and that he could actually be the stalker. So Keenan tells investigators that he has never been to Morgan's house. He's never met her or even spoken with her. And then he offers, hey, if you have a footprint, I am completely willing to submit a sample of my shoe impression as well as take a polygraph. Never take the polygraph. Never.
Oh my gosh.
Just, guys, don't do it. As a special rule of thumb, don't take the polygraph. Never take the polygraph.
But he's 15.
He's 15, bless his heart. He he believes that he is going to be...
He's innocent. He's
innocent. And so he's like, whatever,
he wasn't even
take all my things.
He wasn't even in the state when some of these happened. So
then officers tell Keenan that they actually have surveillance video that looks an awful lot like him. But Keenan has an answer for that. He says Wiley has a very similar build, and they're actually the same height. So Keenan agrees to and signs a search warrant for all of his belongings, as well as a consent form for the cops to speak to his store manager for all of his records. So he just basically signs over his life.
So this is all before Morgan is dead.
Yes.
And they're just like pursuing him for the stalking charge, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in all of this information, Keenan maintains that there's no way it was him on the video, that he has never walked up Morgan's driveway, and that there's no way that he could be the stalker, but he does want to see the video because he wants to know who it is. And
I mean, I would feel that way too.
100%.
I don't blame him.
Know.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, who the heck is pretending to be me or like looks like me?
Yeah.
So in this interview, the detectives leave the room. They go to speak with his dad, and Wade actually corroborates Keenan's alibis on a few of the occasions when reports were filed, because he said, listen, I was in Texas and Wyoming on these hunting trips with my son. There's no possible way that it could have been Keenan. So the detectives start to question other neighbors about his involvement, and one neighbor mentions that he heard that when the initial stalking investigation began, Morgan made a statement to the deputies that her parents were overreacting.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the detective actually makes a note in his interview, or when he's talking to the neighbors, that he wants to ask Morgan in her scheduled interview for December 6th. He wants to ask her about this statement. But Morgan would never make it to that interview.
Whoa. My mouth was totally... if you guys could have seen my expression.
It like hit the deck.
Yeah.
Morgan was found dead by her mother on December 2nd, 2011.
Oh, man.
The Garfield County, Colorado Sheriff's Department deputies begin their investigation, conducting interviews and taking photos of the crime scene. Coroner Trey Holt brings in forensic pathologist Dr. Robert Kurtzman to do the autopsy. 17 days after Morgan was found, Kurtzman determines her manner of death to be from natural causes.
What? She's 19?
Right. But it's as a result of acute intermittent porphyria.
What is that?
I've
never heard of that.
Right? I had to do like some major research on this. A genetic metabolic disorder. And her parents are stunned.
I'm sorry.
We're going to get into it. I promise. I did all the research.
Good, because I don't know anything about
Okay.
any of those words you just said.
Right. I know those words are hard. So
Genetic. I got that one.
this is bonkers. Okay. 8 months later, after further testing, Kurtzman revises the manner of death, changing it from natural causes to suicide by drug overdose.
Okay.
And the Ingrams are pissed. So right now, like from then to now, the Ingrams are on a mission to solve this whole case because they believe that Morgan was murdered.
Yeah.
Her dad is quoted as saying there was blood on her forehead. There was blood on the outside of her mouth. Her lips were fat. There was blood across her teeth. Her nose looked like it had been smashed. Her mom says that her neck was purple as though she'd been strangled. Okay, but here's the thing.
Okay.
In both autopsies, in the beginning stages and then the 17 days after Morgan was found,
Okay.
there is no evidence of trauma anywhere on her body.
Okay. So.
Right? This case like breaks my brain. Okay. No trauma. So Morgan's parents allege that this is because of negligence and incompetence by the sheriff's department, which don't get me started on that. But they contacted, this is going to blow your mind, 27 outside experts to take a look at Morgan's case.
Okay.
27.
And?
One of those 27 was Dr. Michael J. Doberson. And he says, after reviewing all the information that I had for the case, I was really surprised, especially in the face of having lethal levels of amitriptyline in her blood. I just found it very, very confusing.
Wait, what is amitriptyline?
Okay.
Say that one more time.
I'm glad you asked. So, amitriptyline is actually prescribed for anxiety and sleep.
Okay.
So, but in addition to the amitriptyline, there were also high levels of a muscle relaxer found in her stomach, which her parents say she wasn't prescribed, which points, they allege, it points to someone else being involved in her death.
I mean, I can see that.
Right. Okay. So,
okay, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Was this not found in the initial autopsy?
I don't know that. No. It was. Yes.
So these are things that were in the initial autopsy. This expert's just coming in and re-looking at all these things and saying,
correct.
Hey, this probably would not.
This is probably the
a
cause
sign
of death.
okay.
Right. Okay. So I want to stop here and say there are a few interesting things about Morgan's case.
I mean, already I am on the edge of my seat.
Okay, good. I'm super
This is
glad.
a very interesting case.
As I was researching all of this, I was just like, this just keeps taking so many twists and turns. It's crazy. So all of the police reports were filed by her mom.
Okay. So was she interviewed or were they
Nope.
all? Okay.
Tony is the one that told Morgan that she had a stalker. So, and like I said before, after just 7 days of all this weird stuff, they decide that Morgan has a stalker. Okay. Next, the amitriptyline was actually prescribed to her for depression and sleep, but only a small amount of the pills were missing from the bottle in her room. It looks as though maybe she stopped taking it for a while. That's kind of up for debate.
Okay.
And then the coroner actually says that there was a lethal dose in her stomach. So
It couldn't have come from her bottle if there was only a few missing or.
well, we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, so there's something called stomach sludge, which made me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Which was consistent with the color of amitriptyline, suggesting that she did ingest it.
Okay.
And then Flexeril, which is a muscle relaxer, was not found in the house, but it was in her system. So that her mom believes is because she was drugged.
Yeah.
And given an overdose. Okay. Here's the thing. Morgan had acute intermittent porphyria, which causes constant abdominal pain, pain in the legs, chest, back, muscle pain, tingling, numbness, mental changes like anxiety, confusion, hallucinations, disorientation, paranoia, and can be exacerbated and triggered by recreational drug use, as well as emotional or physical stress. Hello, she had a stalker.
Yeah.
So Lo and behold, one of the things that they find in Morgan's room is marijuana.
Okay.
Okay. But her mom says, no, that's not Morgan's. Morgan would never take that. It's one of her friends.
It was probably Morgan's. Sorry, Mom.
She's a teenager.
Sorry, Tony.
Right. Like, we all want to believe that our kids are magical unicorns. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
So, acute intermittent porphyria is a rare genetic disease that can actually mimic symptoms of being poisoned.
Oh.
Right.
Whoa.
This disease is bonkers.
So they didn't know she had it until...
Oh, they knew.
Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, okay.
They knew.
Oh.
Her mom, like, if you go back and listen to interviews with her now, her dad says, oh, yeah. She was diagnosed with that. We were treating it. Her mom maintains, no, never. Not one time. She was never told that she has this.
What?
Uh-huh. Okay. So, bonkers. Her dad actually says the day that she died that she was being treated for it.
This is hurting my brain a little bit.
I know. Like, it drives me crazy. Okay. So, the amitriptyline is kind of a source of contention for a few reasons. Like I said, Morgan had an expired prescription with only a couple of pills missing. Here's where it takes a weird turn. Her mom worked on a horse farm where liquid amitriptyline was kept.
What?
Right.
Okay.
So a few people on Reddit, which, go down the Reddit rabbit hole.
Yeah.
They suggest that it was actually possible that Morgan was able to get it that way. And that's how it was ingested and in her stomach rather than in her bloodstream.
So, okay. Well, so Morgan would be taking it. Maybe it was more effective if she did it that way?
Possibly. Or maybe she was just like, I'm over this.
Okay.
I have a stalker. I'm stressed out. My mom's nuts.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's crazy is that Morgan, right before she died, she had told her friends that she wasn't feeling well, that she was having chest pains, she was despondent, she was stressed out and feeling all of these pressures. So, according to the website her mom created, morganingram.com, Tony says that a year after Morgan's death, they would come to find out that she had a date rape cocktail put into her stomach after she was dead, but there was no investigation. Your face is fantastic. I love it so much.
You should take a picture right now. I'm so confused.
100%.
How would you find that out?
No idea.
How? Really, how?
How, why, who, what? Okay. That was so great. Your face was fantastic.
I mean, obviously you're not done with the case yet, and then there's still so much more. Maybe we're almost done. I feel like Tony just can't come to grips with.
And okay, so that's what a lot of people on Reddit are like, honey.
Yeah.
Honey. Like, I'm so sorry that this happened to your daughter, but honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 years after her death, we would learn that her body showed no evidence of being assaulted, redressed, and posed after she was dead. Still no investigation. We also learned that any evidence that was collected had been destroyed despite all the assurances that it would be kept forever. Here's what I want to say. None of this can be corroborated.
Well, and I mean, I know, maybe Carbondale's different because it's small, but like you don't normally, I guess, unless it was completely 100% found to not be anyone else involved, you wouldn't normally throw away evidence ever. You keep
never.
Evidence
Absolutely
forever.
Not. Right.
Like, well, almost forever.
Basically.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you keep evidence for a while.
You do.
Unless you are 100% sure.
Right. Okay. So
no one else was involved.
So the tox report showed that there were only 2 drugs in her system, not a cocktail like her mom alleged. There were no signs of trauma, according to the 2 coroners. And remember, they even had the 27 people come in, and only the one dude was like, I don't know. There was no injection, which they were alleging like she had been given an overdose. They were all delivered orally. They were in her stomach.
Yeah.
The other thing that people point out is that she and her mom were actually fighting the night before. She was super pissed off at her mom. She called her the B word and told her to leave her alone. So, was the overdose on accident? Was it purposeful? Like, nobody knows. Was it administered by her?
Yeah.
Was it administered by this
quote
stalker?
Stalker, quote unquote, yeah.
So the problem the internet has with Tony is her pointing the finger at this kid. He's 15 years old. Then she starts to blame his parents, his girlfriend, and eventually other people in the neighborhood. Oh, your face is so freaking great right now. I love it.
I'm like, what is wrong with this lady?
So to Tony, everyone's a suspect, like anybody, all the people. And if you do any research online, Morgan's cause of death is really up for debate. There are all kinds of things thrown out there. Munchausen by proxy, suicide, stalking, plus homicide, even carbon monoxide poisoning, which they kind of sort of ruled out because there was actually a ferret that was in her, what's it called? What's the little vent thing called? Like in a little, like air duct or whatever. Yeah.
Air duct, yeah.
That was alive when Morgan.
So I'm sorry, what? She said a ferret in her air duct?
Apparently. I don't know. This is Carbondale.
Side note, there's a ferret in her air duct.
But the point is that the friggin' ferret was alive, but Morgan wasn't. And so they're like, oh, that doesn't work. Like if it was carbon monoxide, both Morgan and
the ferret,
Mr. Ferret
would be dead.
Right.
Mr. Air Duct Ferret.
Mr. Air Duct
That's where I keep my ferret. So
yeah, absolutely. 100%.
All my pet ferrets, I just keep them in my air ducts.
Oh my God, I'm never coming to your house again.
Oh, man.
So like I said, it was initially ruled a suicide and then declared an accidental overdose. How that overdose was administered, we'll never know. And as far as Garfield County Sheriff's Department is concerned, Morgan's case is closed.